What's up, everybody? John from Old Reading Farm here. Thanks for joining me. In today's video, we are going to do a little sawmilling, and we are going to start the process of our chainsaw shed build. So if you noticed before, we had our drying rack here for our lumber, but I've moved it since this is relatively level. So we're going to build a 12 by 16 shed here so that I can have a roof over my head when I'm chainsaw milling. So got the mill warmed up. I got a 15-foot oak right there that I'm going to mill down. Let's get to work. All right, so maybe this is maple, just based on how freaking white this is. I don't think it's an oak. But anyway, so what I got here is I'm just going to cut a few beams like this. And so I'm going to cut that basically right across the middle and then use that as a support going this way. And then I'll put some other beams on top of it that way. So it'll be similar to how I've built my other pieces, where we basically have these big beams on the bottom and then we build up on top of that. So I'll have this will be my long side, and then I'll have 12 feet going the other way. I'll show you what I mean in a second. All right, so doesn't look like very much here, but I have at least two of these 15-foot lengths. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have little cross beams that go from this far one up to this close one. And then I'll just put the flooring on top of that. Because that's going to be, if I have like, you know, those good 5-6 inch beams, and I think that's what I'll aim for, is 6 inches thick to give it like a really nice sound structure. So I have a bunch of these logs. I have 5 at 12 feet long. So I should be able to get at least 5 beams, and I should be able to do more than that. And then if they're like a foot apart, or I guess even like 18 inches, that'll be fine. And then I'll just need to mill up some floorboards for it. And those can just be 8 foot. And so I have some thick spruce over there that I can use to easily mill the floorboards. But so what I'm going to also need to do is level this out. And so the idea here is that with these two main beams, I can get them level to the ground, and then I can use the other beams to level them the other way. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mill. I have a smaller log. I'm going to see if I can mill that to 12 feet so that I can get this set up on over here, and maybe I can even get 2 out of it. We'll have to see. And then I'll put some cement blocks in the middle here. So I'm going to mill that down, put that over here, go get some cement blocks in my big level, and see if I can get this all set. So after a nice afternoon of milling, I now have 3 of my 15-foot or so beams, and I have 7 of my 12-foot or so long beams. So now what I'm going to do is I have all these cement blocks, so I'm going to level these out, and then I can put the beams on top of there. Put the beams on the beams and make sure that the beams are level both ways. So now maybe you can see sort of what I was talking about, because I know sometimes when I talk about things, it's not really clear what the hell I'm actually talking about. So got these 3 big beams going this way, and so they're all level with each other and they're level with the earth. And so now I'm going to take my other 7 beams and put them across that way. And so that's just so that I know that everything is even, it's all good. And I mean, you know, this is not like some fancy house that I'm building for somebody else. It's just literally a place where I can chainsaw carve it, you know, out of the elements. So anyway, it's getting a little bit dark, but I'm going to see if I can throw at least the beams on there, if not some of the wood that I milled today. So we shall see what happens. Oh man, those are heavy. All right, so these are all 4 inches thick and like 8 inches or plus wide. So these are gonna go that way. And then I'm gonna have 2x going this way to make like a floor. But so that way, these guys are super rigid, super strong. They'll be able to hold my weight and whatever other big thing I decide to put in there. Because really, sorry, get my workout in today. So this is really to just make myself a place that's, you know, in the summer I'll have shade, in the winter I'll have cover, and I should hopefully be able to store some things in here, whether that's carvings or, you know, keep my saws out here. And I'll put a door on the far side as well as a big door right here. So I have plenty of ventilation because I was previously carving in our old alpaca barn. And even with that big, like, I think it's a 10-foot wide door, maybe it's 8 feet, just, there's not quite enough ventilation. You know, you still get a lot of gas fumes and I want to stay away from that. So I'm just going to lay these out a little bit better. And then I have a bunch of boards and see if I can maybe lay them down and give it just a template of what it'll look like. So BRB. All right, so I am very, very happy with how this has come out. Excuse my out of breathness, but so, whew. So I have a few more boards over there. I don't think I will be able to do all of this with what I milled today, but I will get a good amount of it done. And I mean, this is gonna be so I mean, that was my platform before. I'm gonna have so much more room for activities here. And this is super sturdy. So this is gonna be great. You know, cause like I said, these are really thick. And this is sort of what I was thinking. At some point I wanna have a tractor house. And I think gravel base, and then maybe we put these on top and then do like 3-inch 3x on top. But I mean, this is super sturdy and they are about 2 feet apart on center. But since there's really only a little more than a foot between each one. So this is still gonna be super strong. You know, obviously it's right on the dirt, so it's gonna sink at some point. But again, this is just for my own building purposes. And so I still have some straight pieces over there. I'm gonna need to see what I can make with that over there. But I am actually, as much as Catherine doesn't believe me, I'm making my way through this wood over here because I only have one more poplar log, which is my favorite. I guess I could break into my firewood pile, but there's a lot of not very straight stuff over there. Because the key thing when milling is you get a lot more out of a straight piece than you do with a curvy piece. I still have some soft wood over there, so I'll definitely be able to finish building this. And I milled also enough so that I can fix the hay feeder for the girl alpacas, because it's falling apart a little bit. But anyway, that's gonna do it for right now. I'm gonna check in again tomorrow. I got a big day tomorrow. I'll tell you about it next. All right, so not only was it a big day today, but I also hurt my back. So not sure how effective I'm gonna be, but so I got all of the boards that I milled as the floorboards onto my base here. And I must say, even though you're gonna see them bounce a little bit because they're not secured down, it is very, very sturdy. And so you can see after about half a day of milling yesterday, I have about half of the wood. So I will need some more, and we'll have to see. But so today was a big day. I went and installed the arbor that I sold at the flower show. So that was great. And so in addition to that, we also just sold 5 of our alpacas. So we had, you know, we have gotten an awful lot of alpacas over the years. And, you know, it was just time. We had a lot of alpacas, man. So we sold 5 of them because we have so many white alpacas. It's just more than we really need. So We sold 5 alpacas to a really nice farmer who came all the way from Pennsylvania to grab them. And yeah, so got somebody coming in a little while to pick up some eggs. And now it is up to me to figure out what to do with the rest of the afternoon. Like I said, my back is a little sore, so I'm not sure. You know, I really do want to clean up this area back here. And like, I went through a ton of wood milling for this thing. So I'm not sure if I should keep going. And I mean, a lot of this pile we took out when I was doing my chainsaw carving. And then this was my nice straight softwood pile. And you can see it's almost gone. But I still have, I believe this is spruce. Or this might actually be the white pine. But anyway, maybe I'll, and you can see it's a little curved, but so I have some of these logs. I also have some other softwood logs that were dropped off to me that are still up there. So maybe that's what I'll do, is I'll sit my butt in the tractor seat and start moving some logs from upstairs to downstairs. Like you can see, I still have a ton of these, but these are all windy. So like I said in the last segment, these are not great for milling because you're just gonna waste a ton of wood. And I can use some of these for chainsaw carving. I also have some cherry back here that I discovered, so I can use that for more signs. Because the next show that I have coming up is not the Dogwood Festival, but I have one of the shows coming up is the Dogwood Festival, which is it's the day before and the day of Mother's Day. So I definitely want to make some like mom's garden signs. And like we talked about it, my previous laser cut signs didn't really sell that well. You know, I sold a few of them, so it definitely wasn't a waste. It was good, always good to have variety. But so what I'm gonna do is make some like mom's garden signs, or maybe even grandma's garden signs, stuff like that. Now I'm just over here looking at what's next, man. All right, so I did some cleaning up there, and actually I had a ton of hemlock up there that was pretty straight. So that's actually gonna be really good to mill. You know, it's actually a little bit bendy, and some of it is pretty small. Well, let's see, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decent sized logs, and then 4 smaller logs. But I found that especially with the little beams that I did over here, so like I really am excited for how strong this foundation is. And I got the idea for this because actually the loft in our house uses a foundation like this, so that's pretty cool. And so I'm thinking that for when I have an eventual tractor house, like I talked about before, I would basically double this, and I would also dig it out and put a gravel foundation and then level it out that way. But then that'll give me a nice solid foundation. And again, like you'll see, these boards are a little warped, but man, this is just so sturdy. I love it. So using those smaller boards or smaller logs, I can do some of these and basically just cut, you know, 4-inch thick slabs. So that should be good. That'll be good to have those. And I actually just got an email from somebody from the flower show who wants to get 2 of the extra large mushrooms, which is really exciting. My second ever like commissioned piece. The first one was a couple of trees back in December. But so that's cool. That makes me real happy. And yeah, so I think the last thing I'm gonna do, because my back is actually acting up pretty good, let me go show you where we're at with the mother-in-law house build. Pretty exciting. All right, so it's actually pretty exciting where we're at. And it's a little muddy over here, so I'm not gonna do a ton of walking around. I rented this big machine again. And so once again, our yard is full of excavators and skid steers, but check it out. We have a foundation. How about that, huh? That is pretty damn exciting. So, I mean, look at that. Isn't that great? You know, it's funny, the sun is warm, but that wind is just a little bit chilly. So, this is gonna be the garage. It's
going to be your front porch. That's going to be the main house. It's pretty small. So it's only 1,000 square feet for the house. You know, so obviously it'll be a little. But, yeah, I mean, I think this looks great. We're almost there, Joanne. Just need the house part of it. Maybe we're not almost there. We're almost there. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you very much for sticking with me through this one. I'm sure this wasn't the most fun one, but I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.